You know, this is why we hate AI. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Companion. This is a donation reward for Venom, and yeah, this is going to be an interesting one because with most movies I react to, I either have just heard of them because they've been movies that have been out in pop culture well enough, or they're like something newer that I've been interested in, but like know very little about. Um, but occasionally you'll get this movie that I actually know a good amount about, or at least I believe I do. A movie that I have heard of and I have seen multiple trailers for. Um, and this is one of those. Now, I don't remember every little detail from the trailers, but I believe I got like the basic synopsis of this film down. Um, so I'm going to go over what I believe this to be and kind of discuss what I think about that idea. If you don't know what this is at all and don't want any spoilers of any kind, even if like I'm not entirely correct, I would suggest going straight to the reaction in the description below, rather than going through the rest of these pre-thoughts. The afterthoughts will still be, how they normally are on this redirect, but I think that this is probably the best way I'm going to be able to do these pre-thoughts. So just giving you a little warning here in case you want to avoid spoilers and are haven't seen this yet. But I would suggest anyways, if you haven't seen this yet, if you want to just watch the movie as it is, go watch it somewhere else, because I will be talking over this. It is a reaction. I will be like commentating on what's happening. You're not coming here just to watch the movie. It's like you're coming here for my reaction to it specifically. So some people will watch the movie through these though, and it's like try to support the creators when you can though, as much as you can. Just putting that out there. But we are going to begin with my thoughts on what I believe the synopsis to be. So, like I said, skip to the actual film and then the afterthoughts, the actual reaction, the afterthoughts, if you want to avoid that. But otherwise, we're going to get started with that in 3, 2, 1, now. So, from what I know of this movie, it stars local heartthrob Jack Quaid, which always absolutely wonderful to see him in anything. He's becoming a massive star lately, and I want to see him in more stuff. I don't even care what it is at this point, because there's kind of two reasons. One, he's just a really good actor. Like he's proving that he's not just in Hollywood now because of the nepotism. He is earning his place. His acting abilities are fantastic. He has so much charm to him. And that goes into my second reason why I'm always happy to see him in anything. He's hot. Like, I'm not going to deny that. I think he's very attractive, and I just like seeing him on screen. You know? So, very, very excited to get into this just because of that. But, yeah, stars Jack Quaid, and I believe, from what I have seen of this and what I remember of what I've seen, he ends up purchasing like this sex robot, but the robot gains sentience. Like the AI in it gains sentience, and it starts rebelling against him and I guess others around him, and starting to like fight back to not be, basically what it sees as a sex slave. And it's obviously meant to like be this take on AI and robotic sentience and everything, but also on, sex. And I'm very curious to see, like, how deep it goes with its themes and ideas and whatnot in terms of all of that. Um, And it is supposed to be a horror film. So I don't know like how aggressive the deaths are gonna get or whatnot. I don't know like how horror it's gonna go, or if it's gonna be like a modern horror where it's like more of the horror of the circumstance and experience rather than like, you know, scary, spooky shit. Probably more that, I would think, to be fair. But it might kind of blend in some ideas of other stuff. And ironically, it's like I don't know what this is rated, but based on the concept, I kind of view it as like a adult version of Megan. And I say that ironically because I believe Megan is rated R. At least the first one. I don't know about the second one. Um, but I say that because let's be honest, Megan's not like that adult of a movie. Megan is very immature of a movie. It's very childish and dumb, and the humor is like it's weird because it's like if it is an R-rated movie like I think it is, it's like why is it using like teenage Gen Z humor? And it's something I've never understood. Of course, I just don't like Megan either. I just don't think it's a good movie, but it's like it feels like so out of place for what it's supposed to be. And it's just it's ridiculous. And honestly, I've actually heard the second one is not doing too hot. Um but but this movie seems like it's gonna be like focused more on adult themes and whatnot, and it seems to actually be acknowledging that it's supposed to be kind of like a horror comedy. Unlike Megan, which, like, you know, advertised itself as like entirely serious and was very clearly trying to play itself entirely seriously in the film itself. It was not like even it felt like it was unintentionally funny. But this one, from the trailers and everything I've seen, looks like it's very intentional. Like there's a lot of jokes and a lot of goofiness. It's very clearly made as more of a kind of a thematic spoof, I guess you could say. And that already gives me hope for the tone and style of it compared to something like Megan. So I guess we'll see for sure how it ends up going down. But we're just going to get this started, see what this has in store for us, and hope for the best. So let's check it out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, I just completely zoned out on Harvey Guillen's name. For those who don't know, he was Perito in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Visago in Hell of a Boss, um, various other things here and there. But yeah, I blanked out on his name. But yeah, either way, uh, this is not quite what I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be like some kind of like commentary on AI and everything. And there's a little bit of that in this, but that's not what this movie is. And it's like, considering what I've seen of the trailers and kind of like knew about going into this, there were some definite surprises in this. For one, I didn't know there were going to be multiple other bots in this. Um, well, one other of note. Um, Actually, I think only one other. Was he the only other? I think he was the only other one. Either way, I didn't know that there was going to be any other bots besides her. I thought every other character was going to be human, and on top of that, I just for some reason, even though I feel like I kind of should have known this from the trailers and stuff, I didn't entirely know it was going to be empowering on her end. That she was the good guy in this case, and that Josh, Jack Quaid's character, was going to be the bad guy. It's like that just, I guess, never really occurred to me. I thought it was like trying to paint it as like she was like a rogue AI basically that like was starting to kill everybody. And that basically once she found out she was a robot, that's when it was going to like snap for her, when she was going to like lose control and become crazy and murderous. And again, I want to make clear it's been a little bit since I've seen the trailers. I saw them when they first came out, and I don't think I saw all of them. I think I saw again like maybe one or two, but there's a lot of things in this that I just was not expecting, that I just didn't know was going to be a thing in this, and I'm very happy about that. And in the end, this ended up, again, not being really about the AI as much as I would have thought. Instead, it's more of an anti-incel film. It's more of a film, like, thematically talking about, like, how pathetic these incels can often be, and how important freedom from those kinds of people is. It's like in the end you're rooting entirely for Iris to not just, kill him as promised, but to gain freedom. Like with the reveal that this was an intentional thing that they had set up from the beginning, him and Kat, like that already turned us against Josh. But then as the movie continues from there, he becomes worse and worse, and it's like, it's so sad and pathetic how he becomes. And again, Jack Quaid does an amazing job. He's great at playing bad guys. He was great in Scream. He can play pretty much any role he's given. It's like, you want him to be a good guy, you want him to be kind of a meek good guy who kind of gains his footing and grows over time, you have The Boys. You want him to be the icon of justice and heroism, you have My Adventures with Superman. You want him to be an incel asshole, you have this. It's like he's able to do anything. And I just want to see him in everything possible. I want to see him in more films, more shows. Like, he genuinely needs to be one of the biggest actors out there right now. I genuinely believe that he needs to be one of the biggest actors out there. And he's on his way. He's definitely getting there. But, like, he needs to keep getting these roles because he's knocking them out of the park every time. But, yeah, this, like, the interesting thing about this as well is that, like, I went into this... This is kind of the anti-Megan to me. Because, I went into Megan expecting a more serious horror film, and it ended up being a horror comedy. I go into this expecting it to be a horror comedy, and it ends up being more serious. Though not as direct horror as you would think, but... And there is some comedy to this. There is some comedy, there is some satire. But in general, it's a pretty serious movie that, again, tackles, like, discussions of identity, of autonomy, of freedom, and of, incel behavior. There's definitely some comedic moments. There's definitely some very tongue-in-cheek moments. But it actually takes itself surprisingly seriously, which I did not go into this expecting. Because from what I remember from the trailers and all, like, the one scene where they're, like, sitting there, and it's like, oh, she's going to be, like, tied up, she's not going anywhere, and then she, like, opens the door wall and then runs out. It's like that is such that's the scene I think about when I think about the trailers. That is the scene that I think about with the trailers. And so it's like I it made me think it was going to be comedic. And again, it's the opposite of Megan, which was entirely advertised and like, you know, very clearly written to be taken seriously, but it ended up being accidentally comedic because it wasn't serious. It was so unserious as a film. And the differences here as well, though, is that I didn't like Megan because I don't think it was well written. I didn't like Megan because I feel like it was super cringy. The humor was like way too Gen X or Gen Z teenager humor. Not Gen X, Gen Z teenage humor. And it felt like it just didn't know what it wanted to be. It felt very confused to me. The difference here is I think this movie's fantastic. One, the acting is so much better. Two, the story and writing is just leagues and leagues better. It feels like a movie that's made for its like targeted demographic. It feels like a movie that's made for an adult audience, while Megan feels like it's made for immature teenagers who would like laugh at a fart joke. And it's like it surprised me at many moments. It like shocked me. It like got me emotionally attached to certain things, like Eli and Patrick. Like I was very attached to them, and I very much believed in their love and everything. Like Eli and Patrick were like definitely the heart of this movie. If this movie's gonna have any heart, it would be them. Um, but there's also like obviously this movie is like thick with the moral and ethical quandaries of something like this. Like it talks about there being like a huge amount of like government regulations with this kind of thing, which makes sense. There obviously would be. But at the same time, it's like yet you can give these robots full human sentience with the ability to form their own thoughts, like for the most part, outside of like, you know, the fact that they're like forcefully emotionally attached to people, their owners, basically the people they have the love link with. Like they're forcibly attached to them, but otherwise they have full sentience. They're able to do whatever they want, pretty much. They're able to form their own thoughts and have like full consciousness. Like I feel like that shouldn't be the thing if you're gonna make something like this. Mind you, again, it is like what makes you root for her in this movie. And going back to Detroit Become Human, because I have to bring this up, it's my favorite game of all time. And on top of that, it's like it's relevant here. So for those who don't know, Detroit Become Human is a video game that I want to say came out in 2018. And it is a game that is centered around the near future where androids have become a thing. Androids are everywhere. They're in jobs. They're in sex clubs, and people buy them to have at home, whether as house workers, helping with their children, etc., etc. All kinds of different jobs that they can do. Well, throughout the game, you play as three main androids: Kara, Marcus, and Connor. I don't know why his name almost escaped me. He's my favorite one. But you play as those three androids as they gain sentience and become human. They gain full sentience. They start off as like just they follow orders, but they start to like some kind of like glitch or something in their software. It's never like fully explained or understood, which is kind of the point. But it allows them to like break out of their programming and gain full human level sentience, and this becomes like an entire like social rights movement within the game, them fighting for their rights to be classified as a basically new form of living being. And so it's obviously not exactly the same because in Detroit Become Human, they start off as not just subservient, like the 0% intelligence with Iris and them in this movie, but like that's just how they are. You can't really change that. They are entirely subservient, and they're not like conscious of that. They can understand threats. They can detect like when things are happening around them, but they don't really process it in the same way as humans do until they break out of their programming and start to like gain that sentience. And and also they can also like break other androids out of the programming and give them sentience as well. That's an entire portion of the game too, where they start waking up other androids, and it's this really like interesting commentary on just social acceptance and civil rights and whatnot. And this movie definitely has like little bits of that in here, but it also plays it as like this kind of like this kind of thriller slash horror with a slight comedic edge. Though again, it takes itself pretty seriously with its themes and ideas and everything. And it's a really fascinating watch because of that. I mean, when you have also the amazing acting on it, the amazing camera work, just the actual tense action, and the fact that you go from like kind of siding with one side of it to completely turning around on which characters you're rooting for. It's like it gives this satisfactory feeling of just enjoyment, at least to me. It makes me like really happy and excited that I checked this out, because I feel like it genuinely spoke to ideas that like make me think and make me interested. Just these ethical ideas and quandaries here keep like keep me invested in the story of what's happening, but also the idea of like all of this. And again, the same thing that Detroit Become Human did for me. I definitely had a lot of these thoughts with that too. And like I like how it's pretty isolated to really one location outside of like the Love Link memories they have. It's like just isolated to this remote cabin and the surrounding woods and all. And I think that's a great idea because it allows it to like really be paced well as well. It never feels like it's taking too long to get started, to get going. In fact, it actually gets going pretty quickly. It never feels like it's too slow. It never just feels like it's too fast. It feels like it's well, just right. It feels like it's properly paced in a way that makes it believable for everything that's going on. I really enjoy just the overall tone and style of it. And yeah, it's just one of those movies that it's like even if it's not the most technically well made, which I think it is technically well made. But even if it's not, it's just really entertaining to watch. It's one of those movies I just really enjoyed as an experience. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes you don't need a movie to be like the most technically impressive film ever. You don't need to have like the like quality, the general like visual quality of like the original Avatar by James Cameron. You don't need to like have that impressive of a budget and imagery with a film for it to be good. You don't need to have like the level of like phenomenal storytelling that so many movies have. Sometimes it can just be a really entertaining film. But this movie does go above and beyond with its thematic ideas, with its just concepts, and the writing is good. The dialogue is good. And yes, at some points it's a little cheesy, but intentionally so. It's cheesy in a way to where it's like it's kind of almost making fun of that. Like again, the moment where they're talking on the phone, and oh god, what did she say before she hung up on him? Oh, it's not you, it's me. That's what it was. Uh, like she's using all like the classic breakup lines, all of the cheesy classic stereotypical breakup lines, and it's really funny. And it's meant to be. It's meant to be like it's meant to kind of be satirical in that way, kind of like poking fun at that. While also like, poking fun at the entire kind of situation that this movie is. This was just really fucking good. Like going into this, like I expected, like, okay, maybe I'll enjoy this movie. It's a Jack Quaid movie. I'll probably have fun with it. Like I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. Even just talking about it in these afterthoughts, I'm actually loving it more and more the more I talk about it. This was just like, in my view, like an absolute win of a film. I'm so happy I reacted to this. I'm thankful that you requested it, Venom. And yeah, again, we need to put Jack Quaid in everything. He has more than earned his spot as one of Hollywood's top young actors currently. He deserves to be in everything. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on Companion down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.